Hello, Dunstable Baptist Church. I'm really grateful for the support that you've been able to show the work at Grace for Rushden in prayer, and I really hope that you can continue to support us. Barry's asked me to put together a brief video to tell you what's going on, and in the hope that that will really inspire you to lift this matter before the Lord in your daily prayers. So my wife and I moved up to this area several years ago, and we have a burden for a number of years to see if the Lord would help us, use us, plant something in Rushden. And those plans had been put on hold at the beginning of the pandemic. But a few weeks ago, 3 or 4 months ago now, I wrote to Barry explaining the current situation. And I think that the general tone of my email was, well, there's nothing we can do, is there, at the moment? But you know Barry, and he suggested that we get together for a Zoom meeting, and we chatted through some of the options. There were obviously some things that we couldn't do because of the situation, but there were others that we could. And Barry very generously gave his time to take 6 weekly Zoom meetings on a Sunday evening at 6 p.m. And the purpose of those was to raise awareness amongst churches who would be interested in supporting a work like that, and to see if we could come into contact with some people in the local area. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And we were amazed and excited to see that the Lord seemed to, a number of times, bring us into contact with people who were looking for a place of worship in Rushden. So after 7 Zoom meetings, we were able to hire a hall for a 6 o'clock on a Sunday evening meeting. And 3 weeks ago, we were really excited that there were 23, 24 people on the very first week that we met. We considered the subject of love. The second week, we thought about faith. Third week, we thought about hope. And on each occasion, there's been a really good congregation. So the Lord has heard and answered our prayers. We're now in a position where there is a meeting with a core of believers who are gathering together. And I suppose in my naivety and in my lack of faith, I didn't think any further ahead than that. I just thought, well, will anyone come? But now that we find ourselves with a congregation of people who are saying, look, we want to support this. We want to join with you week by week. We ask ourselves the question, well, how do you go from a simple one service a week to being a real church with a ministry, a gospel ministry to the surrounding area, with prayer meetings and functions that we put on, and a real church membership and a constitution, church officers? And how do you go from here to employing a pastor and maybe even buying a building? Well, we are excited to think in those terms, but also daunted because we've no idea. So we ask for prayer. Practically, though, if there are any of you that have connections in Rushden, or Rushden, as the locals call it, then we'd be delighted if you were able to help us or put us in touch with any potential contacts. That would be wonderful. But above and beyond that, please pray that the congregation that the Lord has sent us will be joined together in love, and will find a real commitment and a desire to do more than just attend, but to really get stuck in and be part of a new work in the town. I pray specifically for wisdom. We have limited resources in terms of time and energy. How do we deploy those? What do we do next? Where do we go? And also, how do we reach the people of Rushden? Of course, one of the early things that we really want to do is to preach the gospel, is to seek the lost, is to bring grace to Rushden and be used by the Lord to the enlargement of the kingdom. So please pray for help in all of those matters, and remember us in your prayers regularly. We do really appreciate it. We'll try to keep everyone updated, and we'd ask that you bring us constantly before the Lord in prayer. Thank you very much.